Hi everyone, my name is Julia Forman and I'm a candidate for District 26 in the New York City Council. I was born to two New York City public school teachers, and when I became an attorney, I chose to follow my parents' footsteps to a career in public service. I'm running because whether I'm acting as a board member of my local civic association, one of the founding members and the current treasurer of the Western Queens Community Land Trust, or just chatting with neighbors on an open street or in one of our local businesses, I hear the same issues time and time again, and I am deeply dedicated to working to uplift the most vulnerable people in our community. I am ready to enter City Council combining my years of experience practicing law with my love for this community to pass laws that actually help people instead of catering to outside interests. I hope everyone will join me, and together we can create a future that is designed for us, where everyone has access to all the resources they need to live a life with dignity. Thank you.
Queens has the second highest number of older adults in the city, and that number will continue to rise. What are your plans for combating ageism and making sure there are resources for people to comfortably remain in their homes and communities?
Absolutely. Julia. Thank you so much. I worked with many of our local mutual aid groups when this pandemic began to help fill in the cracks that formed when our government wasn't able to respond quickly enough. I helped provide call lists and got volunteers on the phones reaching out to our seniors. And what I saw is that they really were the most vulnerable because they were the least able to access the information, the services, and the resources that were available. We need to take lessons from this pandemic, and we need to have the Office of Emergency Management come up with a pandemic readiness and recovery plan. We need to make sure that we are meeting seniors where they are, using the mail, using phone calls to make sure that we're getting them all the resources that we need. And we need to take the lead of the great community organizations like Sunnyside Community Services that are working with them to make sure that we're getting the funding and the resources to them that they desperately need to live comfortably in their homes now.
Homelessness continues to be a big issue. There is a lot of controversy whenever the city cites a new location, and there have been many shelters established in this district in recent years. What would you do to manage the homeless crisis?
I think that we all agree that the supportive housing model is much better than our current shelter system, but one thing I want to make clear is that homeless New Yorkers are not a monolith. Not everyone is homeless for the same reason, and if there is the mental health or substance abuse problems that have caused the homelessness, supportive housing is great. We can also make sure that we can get folks into those models by creating a secondary public safety agency that is not tied to the NYPD or the criminal justice system to handle our homeless outreach. Secondarily, a lot of our homeless New Yorkers are homeless families. They don't necessarily need supportive housing, but instead they need affordable housing, and the vouchers we're providing do not provide enough for them to get a safe, stable, affordable home for their family, and we have to raise the value of those vouchers. And finally, I also want to make sure that we are taking care of our LGBTQ youth who are made homeless because of who they are, and make sure that we're creating supportive housing that is specifically geared towards them and their age group.
There's been a rise in gun violence within the 26th Council District. There were shootings at Woodside houses in March. What would you do to solve this?
First and foremost, I want to make it clear that every single person deserves to feel safe in their home and in their community. And I am so sorry and share my condolences for the families of the 3 people we've recently lost in our community. Given my experience in the criminal justice system, I know for a fact that we can reimagine public safety in a way that is investing in what other people have been speaking about, the Cure Violence movement, violence interrupters, non-police related entities that are able to get into the community and speak to the people who are involved in order to prevent future shootings, future crime from going on. We can't just be responsive and reactive. We need to be proactive in this movement and really figure out a way that New York City can be a place where people feel safe speaking to the people who are coming out for them, and that we are also keeping people safe from any further violence.
Do you think that the DOT's decision to redesign and put down protected bicycle lanes on Skillman Avenue and 43rd Avenue was the correct decision?
Yes, it's a great start.
Would you advocate for reducing funding for the police if elected?
Yes.
Many people argue that the gifted and talented programs at New York City schools should be scrapped as a means to desegregate the public school system. Would you advocate for ending this program?
Yes.
Half of the community board appointments are made by council members. Should this practice continue?
Yes.
So for the public questions, the first question we have for you is, would you have voted to approve the Phipps House's rezoning application on Barnett Avenue?
I think that the Phipps rezoning was an incredibly difficult decision, and I do not envy Councilmember Van Bramer for having to be the one in the position to make it. I agree that Phipps has proven themselves to not be a great landlord to the current Garden Apartments tenants, and I think as a city we do need to hold their feet to the fire and make sure that they do step up and start actually doing what's right for their current tenants. That said, I don't believe that we are in a position right now to say no to 100% affordable housing, especially when a good percentage of those units are being set aside for formerly homeless individuals. All of us spoke about the homeless crisis, and we all spoke about a need for more affordable housing. I don't agree that the AMI rates were necessarily ideal, but they were better than they were in the original introduction of this plan. So I believe that given what we have, I agree with the decision to rezone it that Councilmember Van Bramer made.
Do you believe that Amazon's last-minute decision not to open a headquarters in Long Island City was a victory or a missed opportunity for the district, and why?
I absolutely think that this was a victory for our district. Amazon was not coming to our district with a good deal for anyone who lives here. Amazon was getting a lot of public benefit. They were getting public land. They were getting hundreds of millions of dollars in cash, and that's all before the tax incentives. I do believe that we need to bring good quality union jobs to our district. We need to make sure that we're bringing industry in and that we're bringing companies that are committing to hiring local, to hiring union jobs, and to providing training and opportunities to our younger people. We have a great opportunity with the industrially zoned areas of Long Island City that we can bring in companies that are geared towards the green economy with a Green New Deal, and that those jobs in companies that are going to have actual benefits, unlike what we see Amazon with their current employees and their current staff, mistreated, not in unions. We can do better, and we will do better now that this deal fell through.
No matter how much experience you may have, nothing will prevent you from making mistakes. Who will you turn to for guidance?
Thanks. And yes, this is an excellent question. I'm really proud that a lot of the people that I know in this community that I've gotten to know and organize with over the years are the people that I turn to when making the decision to run and when building my platform. I am the first to admit I don't know everything. I wish I did. I don't. But there are so many active, so many passionate people in all different parts of our community, focusing on all different things, be it education, healthcare. And those are the people that I know I can go to now to learn from. And I know that should I make a mistake as a council member, they're the people who are going to put me in my place. They're going to tell me what I'm doing wrong, and they're going to set me on the right path. Being a member and now a board member of my local civic association, I know that at all different levels, people do show up. People really, really care and love this community. That's why I'm running, because I love it too. So tapping into all those people, I guess I also have to give a shout out to my husband is at a wonderful and very steady sounding board. So I think everyone here has been lucky to say we have a great community and some great support systems for ourselves.